about 2009 we opened Baydale, and that went very well, to be fair, considering we didn't really have any experience in the sector at all, but we pulled that experience in, and Baydale's been very successful. I think it would be fair to say, certainly had a number of successive good Ofsted ratings. Because of the special, I suppose, expertise that we brought in terms of operations managers who had a lot of experience generally across the sector, and they were keen to promote fostering, and there's a synergy between residential children's homes and fostering, because sometimes residential is considered as the end of the line, but a certain number of people, young people, will always end up in fostering if they're coming into the care sector. And it was a chance for us to diversify, as I've said there, and add to the business, but provide a greater range of services.
My main priority is to keep the young people safe, and basically we want to get those young people into a kind of place where they can kind of cope once they leave us, because the majority of our young people, when they turn 17, 18, they get thrown out into the big wide world, and that's when they've kind of got to cope. So there isn't like me personally, there's an emphasis on kind of stabilising, trying to get them as much as possible to kind of get them to a place where they can kind of, survive in the real world.
What I like about Acorns is the therapeutic approach. Previous agencies where I've worked have focused mainly on the behaviour of the children and addressing that, whereas at Acorns, with the therapeutic approach, we look at the underlying issues.
The training that we offer at the Acorns is absolutely key, because you cannot parent these children like you parented your own. I'm sure all my foster carers will tell you that the training here is to the point of, oh, there's training on again, but in a good way, and they come, and I've had so many of them say to me they couldn't do it without the training. If they hadn't had the training, they wouldn't be able to do it.
What I really like is that we do the fostering and the residential training at the same time, so they get really good opportunity to kind of hear each other's stories, to share experiences, to think about what works and doesn't work. And sometimes it's just that talking and that being around other people who are experiencing similar difficulties, that can be a really supportive, helpful element for the young people. And I think Acorns are really, really good at doing that.
I absolutely love it. It's the best thing I ever did. It's just so friendly. Everybody's really helpful. We're just like a little family. We attend meetings to support carers, so children have looked after reviews every 6 months, so we go and support the carers with that. We do a monthly supervision with carers where we'll go to their homes and just see if everything's all right, if there's anything we can help with. We also weekly phone calls. I mean, sometimes if a carer's having a particularly difficult period, then we can be on the phone every day, a couple of times a day, or if carers are quite settled, they know we're there if we're needed. And we've got a 24-hour service, so one of us is on call through the night, at weekends and whatever, so if there's anything that happens, they've just got to pick up the phone, really.
So the matching here is really, really important for making sure that foster carers are matched with the right young person that they can support. So I always say in the process, because some foster carers will say, oh, well, if they've given up work or they've done, how soon can we get a child? And I always say what we wouldn't like to say, because it has to be the right match to kind of prevent placement breakdowns.
We'll pop out and see them, have a chat with them, give them sort of a realistic view of what it's going to be like. If we think that they could manage or whatever, we'll give them an application pack and they can fill that in at their leisure. Once we get the pack back, we'll have everything on the system, and we go through what's called stage 1 checks, which is a DBS check, medicals, previous employment checks, if they've worked with children before, if they've been foster carers with any other agency before, we do all of that. If that's all satisfactory, nothing's thrown up from that, we go on to the assessment process.
The difference with residential is that any home only has a certain number of placements. So for example, at Baydale, we can only take 5 young people. We're only registered for 5 young people. Fostering is totally different. In theory, you've got an unlimited potential to take new carers on. But I think we've always been very, very careful here, that we've tried to grow, and I would hope that everybody associated with us would confirm that we've invested a lot of money back into the business. And one of the concerns you have with fostering is that foster carers really need quite a lot of support, and if they don't get that support, then they may consider moving away. And one of the things I think we're very proud of here, which is we speak about all the time, is our ability to retain carers, because the supervising social workers are not overloaded with carers, so they have enough time to provide the necessary support to carers. And it's a big thing if the relationship's going to work.